Cluck TV presents A Closer Look with Al Travis, sharing how they select the stories featured on Destination Small Town.
Welcome to another Destination Small Town. I'm Al Travis, and this next business is visually stunning. A definite have to see it to believe it. It's Bogenrief Studios in Sutherland, Iowa, and this is fantastic to look at. The only issues we have, according to our producer out in the field, is that when the stained glass windows are backlit, you'll see the windows stunning. But on the sides, it might get a little bit darker, and we just want to let you know that ahead of time because it's actually worth it in the long run. You'll see what I'm talking about as we go out to talk to Mark from Bogenrief Studios with our satellite. Mark, how are you doing today?
Good afternoon, Al. Thanks for coming to our studio here in Sutherland, Iowa. I wanted to tell you a little bit about how we began this, and it was started back in 1978. My wife Jeannie and I were both working at the Iowa Beef Packers in Dakota City, and they went on strike, and I'm trying to figure out how can I support my family while the strike's going on. My dad was an antique dealer, and he used to buy a lot of antique windows that were broken, and he had parts that he'd send off for to fix them. So I thought, well, I've got a Victorian home. Why don't I just go there and learn how to do this and make a window for my house? Well, that was 1978. I never got the window made for the house, and I never went back to the packing plant. I found my passion in life, and the wife and I started Bogenrief Studios, and we've been at it ever since. And so now that gives you a slight idea of how long we've been at it. We supply auction houses all over the country, a lot of commission work. And as this tour will show you, some of the different things that we do for people. So
if you don't mind, can we just kind of go through the process, the beginning, and move us right on through to the end?
Okay, when we begin this process, the first thing we have to do is draw up the designs for the clients. And as you can see here, we have some laying around. We have a large one here that's going to a home in Virginia. And then we have small little nature scenes. What we do is we draw it out, and then we make a copy of that and cut it out. And that's our templates that we use to lay on the glass. And as you can see also, we're great plant lovers too here. We figure it keeps a little fresh air. Here we have a lamp that we're in the process of doing. We're making pairs of everything right now because I have two sons, and so I thought it'd be nice when I kick the bucket they can have what they want that way, and that's what carries us through. Once we get this part done, we have to take it on down the hallway into the glass room and select the glass, and that's where we'll head to next.
So take us where that glass room is. I mean, a glass room, you're not talking it's made of glass, you're talking glass inside it, right?
Well, now that we've left the art room, we've brought the patterns and the templates down to the glass room, which you're starting to see in this room right here. We have quite a bit of glass on hand, but like they say, you never have enough. Well, anyway, we picked the glass, and this is like what the pattern is drawn, and we make the copy like I told earlier. And what this does is we take the piece right out, the template out, and what we'll end up doing is laying this on the glass, and we'll draw around it, and then we take it to the cutting room. And from there, it gets cut out, and it's a real long process. Some of our windows have 10,000 pieces in them, so there's lots of glass picking going on all the time. And so that's part of the fun that I enjoy, I get to do and everything. So, and the rest of the crew, I get them to do most of the other stuff. But this, we bring it all in here. Once we get it all drawn out and stuff, we have to take it to the glass cutting room, which is another area of the building, which we'll head to here shortly.
All right, so you pick the glass and you've got to cut it, so you have a whole other room for that. Why not? Show us the cutting room.
Well, here we've gone into the glass cutting room after they've been all drawn out in the glass room, and we have a piece of paper here, and we have just a regular hardware, well, this is a commercial grade cutter. It has a steel wheel, and it's at an angle, so what it does is it scores the glass, and by scoring it, you've created a weak spot in the glass, and so if you put that under a microscope, you'd see thousands of little fractures. The reason most people break pieces is they push too hard when they're scoring, so that creates fission, starts them going. And then once we get them all cut out, we lay them out on this cookie pan, and we have all the patterns with them and everything. And this to the lamp I mentioned earlier, it has, I forget how many thousands of pieces in it and everything. But these are some pretty nasty little pieces to cut and stuff. And you can see we get down to some really small pieces, and that's what we're known for, is for our intricate work.
Now this is probably about as far as I go when it comes to stained glass. You got colored glass and it gets cut. From here, what happens next?
Once we get the glass all cut, we bring it into one of these rooms, and we lay all the glass out on a pattern that's 10% bigger. The reason it's 10% bigger is because we need the room, because the pieces have not been deburred yet. And what I mean by deburred is the edges have little sharp points and stuff like that on it, and we have little diamond grinders that take that down. And so once we get it all laid out, we'll take the piece by piece and we'll move it on over to the original size pattern. And there we'll set it down after it's deburred and getting it all ready to be foiled. And that's what the crew right now is working on, is getting one of these foiled so we can getting it ready for soldered. And there's quite a few over there foiling away, having fun. So, and that's takes quite a while. We have hundreds of hours into it by this time. And so it gives you an idea of the size of pieces that we do use in here and everything. This is a set of 3 that's going out to Colorado. So it's going to be a fun set.
All right, you got to go on. This is just fascinating, the small pieces, everything. What's it all look like next?
Well, Al, now that you've seen the process of what it goes through to become a window, let's look at some of the windows. And here, this is part of the Floral series of the ladies that we have. And in this one, we have the wisteria, and on her, we have all the flesh tones. They're all painted. And they're up to 20 firings on each one of these flesh tones. And so you take quite a chance of cutting them out afterwards and putting it all together without trying to heat crack one of the pieces in the soldering process. So this goes on one of 4 that we have in this series. And so we'll work our way down to the next one. And on this one, we have Rose. And we can see she's got kind of a nasty little look staring at you and everything, and lots of different tones in this one. And we've enjoy making these. As you can see, they're almost life-size, and there's just a lot of time and hours that go into these. Approximately, one like this, about 700 hours, right in that. And then we have this special lamp. This is a reproduction Tiffany one, but it's the the Magnolia lamp. Some of this glass we have here is up to 1 inch thick, and we have to use a diamond bandsaw to cut it because you just can't cut it with a regular glass cutter. In the background glass, we have special poured for us by a company in Kokomo, Indiana, and we specify what colors we want, and they'll pour it for us, and that's what we use in this. This one right here, we've made quite a few of them, and it weighs approximately 45 pounds when it's done, so it gets quite heavy to solder and move it around.
All right, well now you got to show us the rest.
Okay, here we have a couple more of the Floral series. This is Carnation. Again, a lot of painting pieces on it and a lot of small pieces. Once you start looking at it closely, it takes quite a while. And the same with the next one in that series. Again, life-size, same thing with the painted pieces. And this is Lily. And what we had here, the glass in here, it all came from a single sheet. We get all the different color spectrums from one sheet of glass, and that's done by how they pour the glass. It just comes out darker on one side than the other, and that's what we use to hand pick and get our depth for the flowers on that. So.
Seriously, Mark, that is unbelievable. It is absolutely stunning. Can you show some more kind of the best of stuff?
These next two windows are some special windows. By themselves, like this one here, for one person it'd take a year to do. We have over 2,000 hours in this one. We have special pieces in it. All the white glass is 2 layers of glass fused together, and then we have cascades of jewels in this and all over. Again, this is, I forget how many pieces, like 8,000 pieces in this window alone. And this one here is a museum quality piece. And the same with the next one. This is Champagne Lady. And then our next one is what we have is Contemplating Lady. She's got a look on her face just wondering what's going on in life. And again, you can see we used more of a monochromatic color scheme for the background of it, and your blues and greens and everything. And again, another year of production time in this one. And so these two are special pieces, and we hopefully get to keep them, and that's the goal.
You must get some fascinating stories. Tell us some of the unique stories you've gotten.
We showed in Aspen, Colorado for 20-some years, and we took this piece out there, and it was, I thought, in the height of its glory, and it's looking great there. And in this studio where we were showing, there was a group of Japanese people there, and so they were looking at it and everything, and they were talking amongst themselves and everything. Come to find out later, they were commenting about the flower with chrysanthemum, spider chrysanthemum. Come to find out, it's the Chinese or the Japanese death flower. So needless to say, they didn't buy it, and we brought it home, and here we are. And farther down the line, we come to Daydream. It is one of my favorite ones right here. Here this, she's daydreaming. She's looking at her book, the knight in shiny armor coming to take her away. And there's actually Chaucer wrote in the book and stuff. And so she's just in her own world, just dreaming.
I'm just amazed at the lifelike look of these. What is that, like a dancer over there?
Here we have Spanish Dancer. We wanted to do something a little different with this window. So after we got it all figured out what we wanted, then we started to do experimentations. And what we did there was, like right up here, I used sheet copper to raise the pieces, and they stick out almost a ½ inch. The sky is actually 3 layers of glass going back that way. And then all the flowers in this window are cupped. And I got tired of doing just straight work, so I figured let's add a little something to it. And so that's what we did. We have like the roses here. All the leaves on here are all cocked at different angles on there. And the same with the roses down below and these leaves. They're just a little bit everywhere. And so you get a little more view of it once the light is off, and you can see at an angle how much different it is and everything. So it turned out pretty good. We like this one a lot. And this winter, since it was such a nice short winter, we thought we'd do a window to commemorate it. And so this is a winter of a lady in the winter, and she's protecting her birds and everything. So it was a fun piece, and it's just something we needed for the hallway. And then we have this another one over here. This one, it actually had made a cover of a magazine, and it was named originally Indian Maiden, but it wasn't politically correct, so they called it Young Maiden. But I wanted it called Hippie Chick. And so this is what we got and everything. So it kind of reminds me of the early 60s. And so here we are.
Just stunning. I'm telling you, this is just amazing to me and so visually fantastic. Show us something large. What's the largest you've done? Now I'm going to put you in. What's the largest?
Well, Al, here we are at the end of the tour. And as you can see, this is our piece de resistance. It has approximately 18,000 pieces in it. We've been working on and off it for 3 years. This is actually the second one of these that we have made. The first one we made, we worked on that for 3 years also, and we took it down to where we sell items down in Atlanta, Georgia. And while we were down there, we set it up on a Wednesday afternoon, Thursday Thursday morning, and Thursday night we get a call and we find out that it's sold, and it was sold to Tyler Perry. And this gives you a slight idea of all the different type of animals that are in here. And what even looks better now is if we had the lights off, you can see it comes to life so much more at this point in time. A lot of the pieces on here are just thinner than pencils, and it's a fun to make pieces like this.
Mark, thank you. I cannot thank you enough for taking us through your shop. That is absolutely, truly amazing.
Well, Al, thanks for coming down and visiting our studio and see what we all do here in this small town. We have a lot of fun here, and you can see our products on our website, bogenriefstudios.com, and we just have lots of things going on. We have visitors all the time. We have bus tours, so if you ever get in the neighborhood, stop on down, please.
Well, thank you, Mark. Another great stop for Destination Small Town. This one's Sutherland, Iowa, Bogenrief Studios, and it was truly fantastic. Stop in next time you're in town. This is Destination Small Town. I'm Al Travis.